everybody, my name is Josh Crane from The Coffee Ride. Figured since so many people are working from home these days, we would do a little tutorial on how to improve your coffee at home. So let's get started. So there are three things that you can do that are really simple to make better coffee at your house. First is always using high quality, fresh roasted coffee. Coffee has within about like a 15-day period from the time that it's roasted to its peak flavor profile. And then after that, you start to see about like a month of plateau to 45 days before you start to see a tapering down of any of the flavors or the characteristics of fresh roasted coffee. So make sure you're kind of like within that window. Secondly is the dosage. So let's talk dosage. It's pretty simple, especially for like drip and for pour overs, but it makes a huge difference. So I wrote down here, there's a quick little formula. I know it's algebra. You didn't think that you'd ever have to use this again, but it is really important. So 16 is kind of the magic number. And we use, for what we're going to be demonstrating today on the Chemex, 35 grams of freshly ground coffee multiplied by 16 here. And then the 560 is the amount of water that we're going to be adding to our coffee, to the grounds to make our coffee. Relatively simple little formula. You can do it at home. Just supplement in X and divide by whatever you need to do to get to your number there. But it makes a huge difference. And that's one of the main things that we'll find people aren't doing at home, is kind of understanding what the proper amount of coffee grounds to coffee is going to be. That'll get you there. The third thing is grind size. One is going to be your standard auto drip machine. Those grinds are going to be relatively the same. These just to let you know too, these are guidelines. These are good places to start. We believe everybody has their own preference. Everybody's palate's a little bit different. But this is a really good place to start. So first we've got the auto drip machine. The auto drip is going to be very similar to, say, like a sand. You want to feel that consistency in there. And you can see in the photo compared to the penny there, what the kind of standard grind size for that looks like. The second one that we're going to be focusing on is going to be your pour over. That's like anything like a Hario V60, Chemex. They do kind of vary from coffee to coffee a little bit, and they do vary from the different methods. But this will, once again, be a really good place to start. So this one's going to be more like a granulated sugar, like your standard white sugar that you would find at the grocery store. And thirdly, you'll find French press. French press is kind of the bread and butter where I personally found myself wondering why my coffee tastes so much different than when you go out to go get coffee, a standard like coffee shop, cafe. And I was using way too fine of a grind, and everything was coming out super bitter. And then I realized that my dosage was very wrong, and I noticed that the grind size was completely wrong. So this one is a common one that most people will get mistaken by, but this one you'll find is more like a coarse sea salt. The next one that we have is espresso, another type of preparation method for coffee. And you'll see this one's more like a powdered sugar or confection sugar. You want this one extremely fine, and you can see in the photo there, compared to the penny, that it is extremely fine. So today I'm going to be making for you and showing you how to make a Chemex, my personal favorite way to make coffee. It's great, looks great on your table, and it makes coffee for a few people, which is always fun for guests. First thing I want to talk about is water. We always use purified water. Your tap water will have different flavors and chemicals that are in there, and find that, like, if we want the purity of just the coffee, a good either filtered water or bottled water. We use Eldorado Springs here in Boulder. But the temperature is very important. So here in Boulder, Colorado, we use about 200 to 201 degrees. Otherwise, you can kind of scorch and burn the coffee when you're making it. So once again, we'll be using this method here, the 35 times 16. So we'll be adding 560 grams of water here. So first off, first thing we want to do is take our filter here, and we want to make sure that we put the thick side of the paper towards where the front lip is here, and we want to preheat the Chemex. Preheating the Chemex, it through this process, the pour over, the water does, by the time it's turned into coffee in the bottom of the container here, it does cool considerably. So if you're anything like me and you want coffee as hot as possible, we want to preheat the Chemex here. Wetting the filter helps stick to the formation of the Chemex here. But once you've preheated the Chemex, I usually swirl it around a little bit. Then I'll preheat my cup too. So there we go. And then I already freshly ground and pre-weighed out our 35 grams of coffee here. I'm gonna tear out our scale. And then from there, we'll start as soon as the first pour hits the coffee grounds here. You wanna start from the outside of the coffee inward, and you'll wanna pour about 75 grams of coffee in for your first. And then we wanna stop and wait. This is actually called the bloom. What the bloom is it's actually releasing a bunch of CO2 that we don't want to be pouring back into our coffee. Once again, it's these little minute things that do make the quality of your coffee a lot better. So that's about 30 seconds. And then we want to continue our pour. We want to go from the outside in. You don't have to use one of these gooseneck kettles, but it does help quite a bit on the flow rate of your pours here if you want to be precise. And then we'll keep dosing about 100 grams every single pour. And then we kind of we'll do this continuously until we meet our 560 grams of coffee. The other thing that we want to do is make this time frame within around 4 minutes. If we go a little bit over, the Chemex is pretty lenient on that. All right, now that we've hit about 4.5 minutes here, kind of wring out the rest of the liquid. You want to take the grounds and the Chemex filter. We'll compost it here. You want to give the Chemex a little bit of a swirl here because you will get some sediment in the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and pour the coffee. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Hope this helped you make some better coffee at home. Everybody stay safe and enjoy your day. Appreciate it.